How many people would desire that the gestation period be reduced and be shortened down? By how many months would you prefer that it be shortened? The human being has a gestation period or gestational period of 9 months. So if the option we're giving you, how many months do you want that the period be shortened by? What will you say about that? Well, actually, that period is very necessary, and for different mammals, it is necessary to go a certain length of time so that the fetus, yes, the fetus can be developed and mature to live out of the uterus and be strong to adapt to extrauterine life. So, for that reason, anyway, we are going to be looking today at the shortest gestational period ever, and I can now start imagining what is going through your mind. Which mammal has the shortest gestational period ever, or what can be the main focus of the shortest gestational period ever? But let's just look at a brief summary, or just a takeout of a number of mammals and then their gestational periods, and we are going to end with a human being, and then we are going to look at the shortest gestational period ever. So the first mammal that we're going to be looking at is the elephant. Now, the elephant, we're going to be looking at two species of the elephant. We are looking at the Asian elephant and the African elephant. The Asian elephant goes a total of about 617 days. So we are looking at 20 months, something around 1 year, 8 months. 1 year, 8 months to be pregnant. That is a whole lot of time. That's a whole lot of time. Imagine a human being was going to go 1 year, 8 months of pregnancy. Oh Lord, help us. But then the African elephant goes a notch above that. It goes 1 year, 10 months. 1 year, 10 months for that baby to be formed and then be able to survive out. All right. So that is awesome. Something that God has done that I don't want to fathom a human being going through. But the next animal is the rhino. I personally think of the rhino as the last descendant of the dinosaur age. Okay, you look at that horn that comes out, I really still see it as a dinosaur. But the rhino goes a total of about 450 to about 480 days. That's approximately 16 months, which time period is 1 year, 4 months. Yeah, 1 year, 4 months. That's for the rhino. The giraffe, okay, giraffe. This makes me think about when we used to peep into people's papers in the exam hall. You've not prepared very well, maybe you overslept through the night and you did not get your cartouche right. When I say cartouche, I mean your little box of paper you want to pick answers from and then do your answering in the exam hall, and then maybe things don't go right, so you have to peep a little into your neighbors anyway. But the giraffe goes for a period of 15 months. That is 1 year, 3 months. The giraffe goes for 15 months. So let's go now to a little bit shorter gestational periods. That's the dolphin. The dolphin, an aquatic animal, goes 10 to 12 months. That's almost a year. I personally don't very much appreciate aquatic. I am aquaphobic, or a little phobic when it comes to aquatic animals, because ever since I watched the movie where a fish swallowed Jonah, I never want to find myself in a sea that has animals big enough to swallow a human being. I don't want to become the next Jonah, okay? So I am happy that I'm living on land and I'm nowhere near to the sea. Anyway, I'm about the coast. Cameroon is a little closer to the coast. So what I'm thinking about doing is relocating to the middle of Africa so that I'm further from every form of water, so that I can stay away from being swallowed and taken to where I'm supposed to go. However, the dolphin goes about 1 year, and the deer, depending on the species of the deer, goes 6 to 9 months. The horse, the mighty horse, the weapon of war, one of the measures by which armies were said to be strong or not strong. The number of chariots, the number of horses you had in your army in the Roman times when they had battles. Yeah, they would tell whether you are really prepared for war by the number of horses you had. Even the Bible refers to the strength of armies sometimes as the number of horses they had in preparation for battle. And we now come to the human counterpart, the cow. The cow goes about a period of 9 months. So say you, as a woman, you conceived on the same day with the cow. We're expecting both of you to put to birth at the same time. Isn't that amazing? All right, let's step down the gestational periods again a little further. We have the goats. This is sweet meat for some people. I have a friend who really loves goat meat. Okay, it might not be the best for you, but this is real good. This is real good. And the goat goes approximately 5 months. The sheep, this is also real good meat. The sheep goes about 5 months still. The pig, some people for religious purposes will not want to go this way. I mean, talking about meat, but the pig goes about 4 months. And the dog, nice pet. I love dogs. I love dogs as pets. They go about 2 months, something thereabout. And then the cat also, the same time age. Many people can do with it. I can do with it to a certain extent, but beyond which I cannot contain with cats. And let's shorten the gestational period again down to the guinea pig. The guinea pig, those who did practicals and the science inclined students who did practicals in high school, they know what I'm talking about. The guinea pig here goes a period of about 2 months still. 2 months still. That's a period of roughly 59 to 72 days. Yeah. And the rabbit, the rabbit goes 28 to 35, so that's approximately 1 month. The rat goes 21 to 23 days. And if you were left to me, I'll be asking, what's the need for this particular mammal to be alive? But thanks to the rat, it brings about seed dispersal. So what it does is that it eats our seed, it gets into our orchards, eats our fruit, destroys the fruit, and then poops in the poops. It goes and poop rather in the forest, the bushes, the grasses, and then that's how we have seed dispersal going about. So thanks to the rat for seed dispersal, especially in the tropical area of the world. And the mouse, I personally don't know why these ones exist, because the amount of damage they give to houses is amazing. All right, but the mouse, it goes about 19 to 21 days, and it is useful. It balances the ecosystem in some way. I mean the rat, but then the mouse, thanks to it, we have scientific and medical advancement. We do a lot of rehearsals and practice and research on them before we are able to go a step further to other animals and then to human beings. So thanks to mouse or mice, yeah, we can be able to achieve that. And finally, we look at the hamster. When I looked at the picture of a hamster, I've never seen one like personally, but it is so amazing, especially the golden hamster. It is so beautiful. This one goes 16 to 22 days, and then it is done with gestation. Woo, what a brief gestational period. But then let us go now to the human being. The human being is the epitome of God's creation. That means of all things God created, this is the topmost. And we have a period of 9 months, something 39, 40, even though some people put to birth before 39, some people put to birth after 40, but peakly 9 months. Okay, yeah, generally 9 months. That's the gestational period for the human. And looking at different birth ages, I mean, before 9 months or after 9 months, we can classify them. The WHO classifies some as extremely preterm, and when the WHO says extremely preterm, we are looking at children born at an age, a gestational period of less than 28 days, classifying them as strict. And you can be wondering, would they survive? Well, in the less developing countries, they have a 10% possibility to survive because of our underdeveloped machinery. They have a 10%, but in the developed world, they have way over that amount of that possibility to survive. So yes, they survive. They do survive. And then the next class is the very preterm. The very preterm range between 28 weeks and 32 weeks, and that's about roughly 7 months. And we have deliveries which are termed moderate to late preterm. That is between 32 weeks to 37 weeks. And then early term pregnancy, early term pregnancy. So you are between 37 to 38 weeks. 37, 38 weeks, you are termed early term pregnancy. But then full term pregnancy, okay? Full term pregnancy, where we estimate that they are going to be little, or the baby is actually ready and mature to be born, is 39 weeks and 40 weeks. 39 weeks, 40 weeks. And then post date, when they say you have gone past the date, it is 40 weeks, 41 weeks. 40 weeks, 41 weeks. This means that you have, when you might have done echographies, a number of echographies, and they have written on them or obstetric scans, and they have written on them estimated date of delivery. They write it EDD in some cases, and then that means estimated date of delivery. They give a particular date, and many people, when they surpass this date, they are, or even just arriving the date, they are already catching fevers. Hey, my baby is not forthcoming. What am I going to do? This baby is staying too long in here. You should not fret, because usually the time within which you should put to birth is 2 weeks before that date or 2 weeks after that date. But when you approach the end of the 2 weeks after that date, normally you should see your gynecologist. If labor is not starting spontaneously, you should see your gynecologist, and she or he is going to see how to intervene. And that's where we come in with false labor, like some people have it, but in medical terms, induced labor. All right, so that is it for the human gestation period. But some people beat this record. They go over 42 weeks. So we are looking at 10 months plus for some people. At that time, the placenta is really old. The placenta is quite old, and then it is not so viable to supply the baby. So the baby is at risk. The baby cannot undergo as much stress as the baby might have, because the placenta has really gotten old. So that is at this level. Please don't go this far. Don't go this far, okay? If you go 41 weeks, and when we talk about 41 weeks, we are talking about 41 complete weeks. That is 41 weeks, 6 days. That is what we mean by 41. So we hear 39 weeks, 40 weeks. We are talking about 39 complete weeks, which is 39 weeks, 6 days. 39 weeks, 6 days. That's what we mean by 39 weeks or 39 complete weeks. Yeah, that's time within which 39 weeks, 40 weeks that we estimate that you put to birth, that most births happen. But let alone whatever time the baby shows forth, okay? Whatever time the baby shows forth, just make sure that you get to the right facility. They're going to follow up from there and see how they can support you through that birth process, if it must happen, or they will stop, because there are inhibitors that can actually stop preterm labor. So yeah. But then, do you know what the shortest gestational period is? I'm sure that you can be thinking the hamster, or what can be even shorter than the hamster. Well, we're not going to look at other insects and all that, but there is even a shorter, in fact, I'll call it the shortest gestational period ever. And if you will, follow me to James chapter 1, the verses 13 to 15. James chapter 1, the verses 13 to 15. Therein is where our topic, or the theme of today, comes. Chapter 1, verse 13 to 15. I'll just read briefly. It says, this is the NIV version. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. That's verse 13. 14 says, but each one is tempted when by his own evil desire he is dragged away and enticed. And then 15 says, then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Did you get it? Did you get it right there? Maybe you missed it. Let me go back on it. Let me get back on it again. Verse 14. Listen keenly. But each one is tempted when by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Okay, there it is, his own evil desire. But for us to be able to understand the shortest gestational period ever from that text of scripture, it is good that we unearth it briefly, in little bits. And we are going to start by defining the name temptation, the word temptation rather. Wikipedia says temptation is a trial in which man has a free choice of being faithful or unfaithful to God. All right, so it's a trial moment. It comes to everybody. It does not matter how inclined to temptation you are, or pious you are, or religious you are. It does not just come for the street guys, the hood guys. It does not. It comes for the pastors, the clergies, okay, everybody, because of its origin. But let's go first, in bits. So we carry in our DNA, okay? We carry it in our DNA. It is right within us. And where does it come from? It is in our own very evil desire. Everybody has this, all right? Everybody has this, and you have the choice to gratify this desire or not, all right? But what is it about this shortest gestational period ever? Let's keep on. Now, no matter how pious you are, like we earlier said, every living human being bears evil desires within him or her, and you can choose to gratify them or not. Now, when these evil desires are entertained, they drag us away in enticement. That is, they lure us away. I would like to use that term lure because it is not just enticing. Enticement could go the other way positively, it could go the other way negatively. But when you lure somebody, you're actually trapping that person, or you're pulling that person way into a snare. And that is what temptation actually is aimed at. It lures us after enticing us, and then we impregnate these evil desires, or the evil desires conceive, and they give birth to sin. Those are not my words, those are scripture. Okay? Now, sin, when fully grown, gives birth to death. And it's not the death of the sin, it is your own death. It's not the death of the sin, okay? It's your own death. And now, bigger mammals take a long period of time to actually, like we earlier saw, to nurture their young ones within the womb, within the uterus, until they are ready to live out of the uterus. We call it extrauterine. And it is very understandable that the bigger the animal, the longer the gestational age, the gestational period of that animal. But we have the greatest and the oldest adversary, who is rather born in a minute or even before a minute. Now, how do I mean a minute? That's the shortest gestational period, like a minute, and then the baby or the conceptus is already fully ready. Already prepared to be delivered. Yes. And this is how it happens. Just imagine. How long did it take you in your desire for money to give out what you did not have to give out? You were entrusted with a piece of property, maybe some goods, or maybe a product or a service. How long did it take you, because of your desire for money, to give out or serve in a way that you were not supposed to? All right? Or let's take it this other way. How long did it take you to take what does not belong to you? Many people say, I just took what did not belong to me and never asked for permission from the person who owned it. It is called stealing. Okay, let's call it stealing because that's the name. That's its name. People will call adultery affair so that they paint it a little good. No, it is adultery. Okay, this is stealing, taking what does not belong to you without the person's permission, express permission. It is called stealing. And that is how soon that gestational period led to the delivery of the act. Okay, so therein is the shortest gestational period. So how long did it take you is how long that gestational period lasted, and then you put to birth. Okay, you put to birth, and when that sin matures, many people, you've seen jungle justice being delivered in many cases. For some of you, many of you even live and you die and you never experience or witness jungle justice, but at least you've been in a court where a person has been caught for vehemently refusing to change from a particular habit, and then is prosecuted, is judged rather, and the verdict is death. Okay, that is when sin has fully matured. And when sin is fully mature, and then that person is given a verdict of death. Okay, that is the end product. That is, sin has conceived, has gone through its gestational period, and is ready to put to birth. What comes forth? The child is death. Okay, that might take a little longer, but then it began with an evil desire that conceived within just a minute, within a split of a minute, maybe not even up to a split of a minute, and then you went into the fridge without your mom's permission and you took what you were not supposed to take, or you went into the pot, okay, because you were hungry and you took what you did not have to take. All right, so now many times it ends up in death without God's intervention, and people have found their own way to go about it, okay, to try to tackle this sin cycle. They use their own human means. They use their own human means to stop this. They use their own human means to end addictions, and sometimes some people successfully go through, others they end in withdrawal syndrome, where your body has just so been accustomed to high degrees of those drugs that you have taken to the point where they cannot do without them, and then you finally decide that this is more disadvantageous to me and the people around me, that I must stop this, and then you try to stop it right there, and then your body begins to give symptoms and signs that I cannot do without this because I have gone with it too long to just let go at this moment. You fall ill, you take ill, and then you're forced to go back to that medication, or that drug rather, and then you start feeling relief. Okay, that is already a bondage cycle under which you have placed yourself. However, there is a way to expose yourself to those very drugs at a lower degree, and then you taper it down till you finally are free from it. Many people have succeeded from that, but that is the timeline you have driven yourself down because you did not choose to resist that evil desire. It works, it is in you, it lives in you till you die. As long as you have this flesh, you have it right in you. But the only way you can stop the sin side, and I'm really serious about this, happy to tell you that there is a way out, and that way is by going through the one who has not just never sinned, but he overcame sin, and that man is known as Jesus Christ. Okay, Jesus Christ is the one who truly can give you the power to overcome the sin cycle. He can give you the power to stop the evil desire from conceiving. He can give you the power, even if you have sinned, to stop sin from conceiving and the fetus of sin becoming fully mature and bearing death. He can stop it right there. All right, because he overcame sin. So if you desire to be able to overcome this sin cycle, maybe you're entangled by things that have become so strong for you now to withstand, and you really want a way out of it, you can just write in the description, in the comment section rather, you can just write in the comment section, I want to break free from the sin cycle. I want to break free from, how can I break free from the sin cycle? We just write that in the comment section. We would intentionally give you a way out of this. And remember, it is not we, it is Jesus who gives you the power to overcome that. So my people, this was the shortest gestational period ever, and I know this might have taken you away from everything you had in mind, but I came over this and I thought of sharing it with you, and I hope someone has been blessed from it. If you have been, please let me know in the comment section. And if you would like us to talk something about this, or maybe something unrelated rather, to what we have spoken about, please leave your comments in the comment section, and we would definitely find time to explore those things so that we can bring to light those things that might disturb you, might be disturbing you, and you'll get them solved so that you can have your best pregnancy experience yet. I would also love you to do me this one favor. In your whole time as a partner to a woman within childbearing age, or the woman herself, you just write down what your greatest problem has been that you have encountered or you experienced in this whole pregnancy issue. Okay, just write it down. We're going to take time to elaborate it. Let me just know it so that we can together discuss it, and then we achieve our aim, which is our best experience, our best pregnancy experience yet. So thank you for staying true. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless you.